Hello, folks. This is Tom Martin. This is my lottery strategy game, Decoding the Powerball guessing game. I'm picking my numbers for the drawing on March 24th, 2018. If you want to play my game, Decoding the Powerball, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. I have 7 strategies with my game, Decoding the Powerball. So strategy number 1, the game card color code. Okay, so if you've never seen my videos before, why I make them is to show you on how to use my game. Okay, so what you're looking at is what I call the game card. This represents all 69 white ball numbers in the Powerball lottery. I really don't have anything for the Powerball itself. My goal is to get all 5 white balls correct and win the $2 million prize with the Power Play option. Okay, so first things first is I'm going to go to the Powerball homepage. And the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 3, 4, 18, 29, and 61. Again, I really don't care about the red ball. Okay, so what I do is I take those 5 white winning numbers and I put it at the top of this list. And then I take the last 3 drawings of numbers and I transfer these numbers over to the game card as red numbers. Then I'll do the same thing with orange, green, blue, and purple. I have 5 different colors, one to represent each one of the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. So for this drawing here, I have 15 red numbers, 13 orange, 16 green, 15 blue, and 10 purple. And the number of colors change with every single drawing. Okay, so over here to the right is 213. This represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. And these are the color code drawings, okay? So out of this 213 drawings, 114 have come up a 3-color combination. 75 have come up a 4-color combination. 20 drawings have come up a 2-color combination. And only 4 times out of 213 drawings have all 5 colors come up together. And never has it been just 1 color. Okay, so this number 2, this tells me how many colors just came up in the last drawing. So you can see that there was 4 blue numbers and a red for 2 colors total. Okay, so how I use this game is I try to guess what the next number will be here. Okay, so more than half the time, it does come up a 3-color combination. Okay, but again, every once in a while, it will hit 4, okay, or even 2, and in a great while, all 5 colors will come up together. Okay, so my overall strategy is this. There's 69 white ball numbers total, okay? Only 5 can come up as winners, so that means 64 can't come up at all, okay? So for me, I just think it should be easier to pick the numbers that won't be coming up than the 5 that actually do, okay? So again, the overall strategy is to reduce the numbers down to a more easier way to pick the numbers, okay? Pick the 5 white winning numbers. Okay, so less numbers to choose from is better in my book. Okay, so what I'm going to turn to is how all 5 colors hardly ever come up together. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these colors won't be coming up and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no purple numbers will be coming up. Okay, and the reason why is because it only represents 10 numbers for this drawing. Okay, now a couple of weeks ago, this 10 was up to, this purple had like 15 numbers that it represented. Okay, and maybe the next drawing it will be up to 12 or 13. It changes all the time. Okay, but for this drawing here, it only represents 10 numbers. Okay, and you can see that the other colors represent a lot more. Okay, so another reason too is because I look at this and just going through the history of the color code drawings here. Usually purple will come up like once or twice, maybe 3 times, and then it will miss. Okay, and this is what a miss looks like. You can see that there's no purple numbers there. Okay, so it missed the last drawing, and I just think that it's due to miss the next drawing as well. Okay, this drawing that's coming up. So again, I'm going to eliminate these purple numbers off of the game card. Okay, so to speed things up, I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far with no purple numbers to it. Okay, so when I block out a number like this means that I'm not even going to consider this number when I'm picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm spending $3 on a Powerball ticket, which includes the power play. Okay, so in other words, I'm betting $3 that none of these purple numbers will come up in the next drawing. Okay, so if I'm correct with my bet and none of these purple numbers come up, then I'm one step closer to that $2 million prize. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 2, the individual numbers. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the individual numbers. Okay, and how this works is up at the very top is the master for each individual number. Okay, and over here to the right, these are the numbers that just barely came up in the lottery. Again, it was the 3, 4, 18, 29, and 61. Okay, so that turns out to be a 4-group combination. Okay, so I'm going to reduce this down so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so what you're going to see here is that there's 7 groups total. So I'm just going to scroll over so you can see all the groups. Okay, so group number 1 holds the numbers of 1 through 9. And then it's the teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Again, for 7 groups total. Okay, so there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so 2 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is this big square right here. This is good for 5 drawings, okay? So I like to break things down into 5, and I like to do it here because I could go back into the history really quick. I could say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, so it helps me count a little bit quicker, okay? But my overall theory here is that if there's a lot of hits within this 5 drawings, okay, for this group of numbers, then maybe there won't be so many hits in the next 5 drawings, okay, or vice versa. So for this drawing here, I'm going to guess that no 50 numbers will be coming up, okay? And the reason why is because I just kind of go through the history and I just see things that things are really really busy here or congested, okay? So I just think that it's due to have a couple misses through here. Okay, so again, my guess is that no 50 numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm going to blow this back up. Okay, so another way I use this is I could just point out a certain number like this 12, and I could go down and I could see what colors has been coming up for this 12. Okay, so I can use it that way. Okay, and another way is I try to guess what this next number will be. Okay, so 4 comes up the most. Okay, so as I go down through the history, you can see that there's lots of 4s here. Okay, then 3 comes up. Second to the most, and then 5, and then rarely a 2, a combination of 2 comes up, and I never seen a 1 before. Okay, so again, I think it's either going to be a 3 or a 4, okay, and possibly a 5. All right, it's hard to predict right now, okay, but down here there was no 4s, so maybe I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a 4 up here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. with no purple numbers to it from the color code, and now no 50 numbers from the individual numbers. Okay, so what I'm doing here is, again, I made a $3 bet saying that no purple numbers are going to come up, and now I'm going to parlay that bet saying that no 50 numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I'm going to keep on adding the parlays to it here and reducing the numbers. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 3, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 1. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 1 numbers. Okay, so basically what I did is I took all the numbers and I divided it into 4 different groups, and I put colors to this group. Okay, so when the 5 white winning Powerballs land within this group, I record it down here in the stats. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the Powerball homepage, and the 5 white winning numbers that just came up were the 3, 4, 18, 29, and 61. Okay, so you can see that the 3, 4, and 18 are all in this red area. So down here in the red, I put a 3 down here, and of course that represents that 3, 4, and 18. Okay, so over here in the blue, there's the 29 that came up. So you can see that I have 1, and that represents that 29. Okay, and then over here in the green, the 61 came up. So I have this 1 to represent that 61. Okay, so over here in the orange area, you can see that no winning Powerballs landed in that area. Okay, so I put a 0 there. Okay, so the strategy is try to guess where these zeros are going to pop up. Okay, so if I could have correctly guessed that none of these orange numbers would have came up in the last lot in the last drawing, then I could have eliminated all these numbers and really gave myself an advantage of picking the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I could have eliminated a ton of numbers right here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one for this drawing. Okay, and the one that I'm going to pick for this drawing is option card number 1 right here. No green numbers. Okay, so you can see that I have number 1 and number 2. I actually have 15 of these option cards. Okay, so I'll just go through a couple right now. Okay, you can see what they look like. They all represent the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, and green. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other from each different option card. Okay, so again, what I'm looking for is this 0. I want to correctly guess where this 0 is going to pop up. That means that none of these numbers will come up in the lottery. Okay, so again, my first pick anyways, is option card number 1, no green numbers. Okay, so the reason why is, as I look at this, I've been studying these columns for a long time now. Okay, as I do the design. Okay, and one thing that I notice a lot is that a 1 will follow another 1 here. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see that here's another one right here. Okay, and I'll keep on going down, and over here you can see that there's 1 over here and then 1 over here. Okay, so this green area has never had that 1-to-1 go back to back like that. Okay, so I just think that it's due to happen right here. I think that it's going to be a 1, and then I think there's going to be another 0 right here. Okay, so again, that's how I see things, and we're all going to see things a little bit different. Okay, so this is how I see it for this drawing, so I'm going to eliminate all these green numbers off the game card. Okay, so I want you to notice that the 69 shares the square with the 53. Okay, so that means I'm going to eliminate the 53 and the 69 as a group. Okay, so as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll to the right. Now you can see that the 53 was already gone. Okay. All right, so all these numbers are gone as a group. Okay, so This 25 shares the square with the 65 here. Okay, so it just happens to be that they're both orange numbers. All right. Uh, the 19 shares the square with the 67. The 8 shares the square with the 66. The 58 shares the square with the 68. Okay, so again, why I have this 25 up here, out here, and not crammed in with the 65 is because of the color code. Okay, so I need some separation because this may be a green number someday, and this may be a purple number someday. Okay, it just happens to be that they're both orange for this drawing. Okay, so again, I need some separation for the color. Okay, so again, if I decide to get rid of this row right here, I'm going to get rid of the 25 and the 65 and the rest of these numbers as a group. Okay, so that's all I'm doing here, folks, is I'm keeping track of groups of numbers and trying to predict correctly if they're going to come up or not come up in the drawing. Okay, so I'm off to my next pick in group 1, and that is option card number 6, no green numbers. Okay, so here's option card number 6, and the reason why I'm picking this one is because you can see that there's a single zero here, a single zero. Okay, so every once in a while you can see that these zeros, they double up or triple up or quadruple up or whatever. Okay, so you can see that there's a bunch of single zeros right here. Okay, so I just think that is due to double up. Okay, so I think there's going to be another zero right here, and that means that none of these green numbers hopefully will not be coming up in this drawing. So I want to get rid of them. Okay, so I'm going to go to the game card and eliminate those off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right just to speed things up. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so the reason why I want to show you step by step is I think that's the best way to learn. Okay, and you can see that, you know, if there is a green number that comes up here in this option card number 6, then you can say, well, Tom, that's where you screwed up. You know, you shouldn't have picked that one. You know, so one of the things is, if you disagree with me that one of these green numbers are going to come up, then the question is what number is it? You know, so it's either going to come up or not come up. It's a 50-50 thing. Okay, so it's either going to hit or miss. All right, so I'm going to go back to group 1. And my next pick, my final pick, is option card number 14, no green numbers. Okay, so I just think that a lot of green is going to miss this drawing. Okay, so as I head down through, you can see that it doubled up here. Okay, but as I keep on going down, you can see that there's at some point a ton of these single blue marks. Okay, so for me, when there's a bunch of single blue marks like this, okay, eventually it's going to turn the tables, and there's going to be a bunch of clusters here of zeros. Okay, I think that's just the way random works. Okay, so I just need to try to guess when that's going to happen. Okay, and I think it's going to happen right here. So I don't believe that any of these green numbers are going to come up in the drawing, in the lottery, so I want to get rid of them. So I'm going to eliminate them off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so if I made all the correct picks so far, okay, then none of these blocked out numbers will be coming up in the drawing. And that means that the 5 white winning Powerball numbers will be within one of these colored numbers still left on the board. Okay, so that's the whole object of the game here. Okay, is to reduce the numbers that give me a better chance at picking what I think will be the 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. Strategy number 4, picking the numbers I hope will miss from group 2. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call my group 2 numbers. Okay, so much like group 1, where I divided things into 4 different groups. Here I divided things into 8 different groups. Okay, so the big difference here is that there's only 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so I know with this group 2, I know that 3 of these groups won't be able to have a winning Powerball number to it. Okay, so of course the strategy is try to guess which one of these groups won't have the winning Powerball number to it and eliminate that group of numbers off of the game card. Okay, so how I use this is I'm going to blow this up a little bit. And I'm going to point out this red area right here. Okay, so you can see that there's 8 squares. Okay, but the 65 shares the square with the 25, so there's actually 9 numbers here in this group. Okay, so just scrolling down, I have 15 of these option cards as well, and I used all the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. Okay, so that's the same with all 15 option cards. All right, so here's the stats for the red area, and here I like to break things down into 5 as well. Okay, and the reason why I do that is because it shows me a majority of things. Okay, so you can see that there's 3 zeros here and 2 hits. So 3 misses and 2 hits. Okay, so the majority is that the misses have taken the majority here. Okay, so when that happens, I color this blue for cold. Okay, and when the hits have the majority, I color it red for hot. Okay, so as I go down through, you can see that things have gotten really hot in this red area here. Okay, so how random works is that nothing can stay hot forever and nothing can stay cold forever because it's so random like that. Okay, so now I'm kind of putting random in my favor. Okay, because again, I know that nothing can stay hot forever. Okay, so I'm kind of thinking that this is going to start to cool off. All right. But my first pick here is going to be option card number 3, no blue numbers. Okay, so again, I have 15 of these option cards. And here's option card number 3. And here's the blue area. So as I head down through, you can see that things got really hot right through here. Okay, and now I think that things are going to cool off. So I think there's going to be a 0 right here. Okay, and of course a 0 means that none of these blue numbers would be coming up in the drawing. Okay, which I hope that happens. Okay, so I'm going to eliminate these blue numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left here. Okay, so you can see, I think I went too far. Actually, I had to scroll down. Sorry about that. Okay, so you can see down below group 2, option card number 3, no blue numbers. Okay, so you can see that all those blue numbers are gone now. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2, and my next pick is option card number 6, no purple numbers. Sorry, my game is lagging today here. Okay, so here I am at option card number 6. Here's the purple. And as I scroll down through, you can see things that things kind of got a little hot in here. Okay, so now I just think that this is going to be a 0 right here. Okay, so I don't believe that any purple numbers will be coming up. Okay, so I want to get rid of these purple numbers off of the game card here. Okay, so I'll go back to the game card. I'm going to scroll to the left. And underneath, you can see option card number 6, no purple numbers. And you can see that they're gone now. Okay, so if I'm correct with that pick, then I just reduce the odds a little bit more for myself. Okay, and the 5 white winning Powerball numbers should be within one of these colored numbers still left on the board here. Okay, so I'm going to go back to group 2. I got a bunch of picks here. Okay, my next pick is going to be option card number 9. no yellow numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the yellow. And as I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot through here. And now I just think that things are going to cool off. Okay, so I think that there's going to be a 0 right here. So again, I don't believe that any of these yellow numbers will be coming up in the drawing, so I want to get rid of them, okay? So I'm going to take whatever's left of these yellow numbers off of the game card. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so my next pick is option card number 10. No green numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the green. As I head down through, you can see that things got pretty hot right here. Okay, and now I just think that it's going to be a 0. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of these green numbers. All right, the 4, 9, and whatnot. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the left. And you can see that 4 is gone now. Okay, so I'm really getting the numbers down here. Okay, so I'm going to go back. My next pick is option card number 11, no orange numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the orange. So you can see that things got really, really hot through here. And now I just think that things are going to really cool off. Okay, so I want to get rid of these orange numbers off of the game card. Okay, so this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I got 2 more picks. All right, so I'm going to go back to group 2, option card number 12, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the gray. As I head down through, you can see that things got really hot through here. Okay, and now I just think that things are going to cool off. I think there's going to be a 0 here. Okay, so you can see these gray numbers, the 2 down through the 26, the 2, 9, 17, 26, and over here as well. Okay, so now I'm going to scroll down. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so one last pick. And that is option card number 14, no gray numbers. Okay, so here's the stats for the gray. And as I head down through, you can see that things got really, really hot here. And now I just think that they're going to cool off. Okay, so again, I'm going to get rid of these gray numbers because I just don't think that they're going to come up in the drawing. Okay, so I'm going to scroll over to the right. And this is what the game card looks like so far. Okay, so I'm all done taking numbers off the board. Okay, so I started off with 69 numbers, and now I'm down to 3, and 2 is 5, and 3 is 8, and 3 more is 11. Okay, so I'm down to 11 numbers. All right, and if I made all the correct picks, and that's the key word here is if. Okay, if I made all the correct picks, then the 5 white winning Powerball numbers will be within one of these numbers that are still left on the board. Okay, so to really help pinpoint where these numbers are going to come up, I'm going to turn to my next strategy. Okay, and that's strategy number 5, the 50-50 picks. Okay, so what you're looking at here is what I call the 50-50 picks. Okay, so again, there's 5 white winning Powerball numbers. Okay, so there's going to be a majority of either odd numbers or even numbers, or numbers to the high side or numbers to the low side or whatnot. Okay, so what I do is I keep track of what the majority has been. Okay, and now I try to guess what the majority will be for the next drawing. Okay, so how this works is over here, this 257. This represents how many color code drawings I kept track of so far. I mean, not color code drawings, but the 50-50 pick drawings, okay? And that's since October 7th, 2015. That's when the Powerball lottery went from 59 numbers to 69 numbers, okay? So out of this 257 drawings, 131 drawings have been the majority of odd numbers. 126 drawings have been the majority of even numbers. Okay, so For this drawing here, as I go back through, again, here I like to keep track of every 5 drawings so I can see what the majority has been for that 5, okay? So this kind of helps me make a decision on what the next drawing will be, okay? So I just think that since odds has won out, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, for the last 20 drawings, the majority has been odds, so now I just think that that's going to turn, and I think that the majority for the next 5 will be evens. Okay, so for this next drawing here, I think it's going to be in more even numbers than odd numbers. Okay, so as I scroll over, I also have high and low. Okay, all the red numbers are high numbers. Okay, all the blue numbers are low numbers. Okay, so you can see that the 66, the 67, the 65 are in that blue, the low area. And when those numbers come up, I do record it in the low stats. Okay, so it really only matters on how I record things. Okay, so with this here, you can see that the low numbers have the majority right now, 131 drawings to 126 drawings. Okay, and then I have left and right, and you can see over here the left is 129 drawings and the right is 128 drawings. So to me, it's just amazing how it's just so close like that over 257 drawings. Okay, so I'm not going to make a guess on the high and low, okay, but I am going to make a guess that I think there's going to be more numbers to the right side than the left side. Okay, and the last thing that I have is this red and blue area here. Okay, so you can see that for some reason the majority of the numbers have landed in this red area. Okay, I think the blue is going to catch up at some point. Okay, so for this drawing here, I think that there's going to be more to the blue area than this red area. Okay, more numbers to this blue area than the red area. Okay, so the last thing I have here is the Powerball number itself. Okay, so this is that red number right here, the 25. There's 26 red numbers total. Okay, so when you look at this column, if you see a blue number, then that means that it's a low. Okay, 1 to 13. And if you see a red number, then that means it's a high number of 14 to 26. Okay, so over in this column, if you see a red number, then that means the number is odds. And if you see a blue number, then that means the number is evens. Okay, so why I do this is because now I just have to look at the colors. Okay, so for me, I like looking at colors like this. Okay, so when I see a long group of colors, then a blue here, then eventually I know it's going to turn red, you know, or vice versa. Okay, so for here, I'm just looking at this, and for some reason, I think that that this is going to be a red number, okay? And I think that this continues to be red as well, only because there was a long streak of blue here, okay? So for this Powerball number coming up, I think it's going to be a high odd number, okay? So as I go back to the game card, I'm going to scroll to the right. You can see the 50-50 picks here. And again, I think there's going to be the majority of will be even numbers over odd numbers. I think the majority will be over here to the right side, okay, then the left. And I think the majority will be in this blue area and not the red area. Okay, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 6, picking the numbers I hope will hit from groups 1 and 2. Okay, but I'm just going to stick to group 2 here. Okay, so again, I want to show you that I have 15 of these option cards, and they all have the same colors as far as red, blue, orange, green, purple, brown, gray, yellow. It's just that the numbers that they represent are a little bit different from each other, from each different option card. Okay, so what that means is that there's 15 of these red areas, there's 15 of these blue, there's 15 of all the different colors here, okay? So I keep a group 2 overview, okay? And I'm going to go to that right now. Okay, so this is what the Group 2 overview looks like. Okay, so here you can see that in this red area here, the last drawing, the red areas had 9 hits, 6 misses. Okay, and of course 9 and 6 equals 15. Okay, so the magic number here is 8. Okay, so it's right in the middle of the 15. Okay, so if there's 8 or more hits, I color this red for hot. If there's 8 or more misses, I color it blue for cold. Okay, so again, now I just get to look at the colors and try to guess when it's going to be a certain color. Okay, so the one that sticks out to me, the two of them that stick out to me the most is this orange and this purple. Okay, so I think that there's going to be a lot of hits within these orange and this purple. Okay, so as I go back to the game card here, I'm going to scroll to the right. Okay, so you can see that I'm going to have to reduce this down, I do believe. Okay, so you can see that over here in the yellow, this 1 through 15, this represents all the option cards. Okay, so this represents the orange areas, and over here, this represents the brown areas. Okay, which kind of screwed that up. I believe it should be purple, but actually, I did write down brown. And as I go back to the to this area here, I did think that there was going to be a lot of brown hits as well. Okay, so sorry about that. I'm going to look at the orange and brown. Okay, that's what I have it set up for. Okay, so here again in the yellow, this represents the option card. So as I go back to option card number 1 here in Group 2, in the orange areas, it's 3 down to the 59, and then in the brown, it's the 6 down to the 62. Okay, so you can see that in the orange, it's a 3, 11, 35, and 43. So I wrote that down from option card number 1, 3, 11, 35, 43. And then over here in the 6 down to the 62, you can see that it's the 6, 14, 22, and 30. So I wrote what was left in that. Okay, so I'm going to do this one, option card number 2, just to bring things home here. Okay, so the orange area is the 17 to the 24, and the brown is the 41 to the 48. Okay. So the 17 to the 34, you can see in the orange, the only ones left is the 18 and the 22. And in the brown, you can see that the only one left is the 43. Okay, so I wrote that down right here. Okay, so that's how I did things. All right, so I don't think I need to go through all 15 option cards here. All right, so I'm off to the next strategy. And that's strategy number 7, picking my numbers. Okay, so I'm going to scroll to the right here. And the numbers that I'm going to go with for this drawing are the 14, 18, 22, 31, and 35. Okay, so using this combination of numbers, this will give me 11 hits, 4 misses in that orange area. And it just will happen to give me 11 hits, 4 misses in that brown area as well. So as I go back to the Group 2 overview here, okay, again, I think that this is going to be an 11 and a 4, okay, and I think it's going to be a red, just like that. Okay, so this is what I hope it looks like. All right, so I'm going to take those back off. All right, so and as I go back to the game card here, all right, again, the numbers that I'm going to go with is 14, 18, 22, 31, and 35. Okay, so you can see that the 14 and 31 and the 22 are all over here to this right side, which I thought would be from the 50-50 picks. Okay, And I thought it was going to be more even numbers than odd numbers. So you can see that there's 1, 2, 3 even numbers here. All right, so I like that. And I thought there was going to be more in this blue area than this red. So you can see that, again, the 14, 22, 31, and the 35 are in this blue area. Okay, the only one that's not is the 18. Okay, so again, this is how I use my game. And again, we're all going to look at things a little bit different. Kind of like a football pool. If you ever played an office football pool, you look at it and you say, oh, I think the Cleveland Browns are going to win. And your coworker is going to say, no way. I don't think they're going to win. So I'm going to pick the opposite team. So again, we're all going to look at things just a little bit different. Okay, so if you like my game, all right, what I'm trying to do here is build a community where people use my game and share picks, okay, and share what they think is going to come up. Okay, so if you're interested in using my game and would like to meet others using my game to share picks, then please go to my website at www.patreon.com/Decoding the Powerball. And if you'd like to send me some feedback, then please email me at decodingpowerball@gmail.com. Okay, so there's no the in there. It's just decodingpowerball@gmail.com. All right, folks, I appreciate you watching. And if you like the content of my channel, then please subscribe. Okay, and as always, I always like to wish everybody the best of luck with your picks.